The next piece needs a little bit of an explanation. I started teaching back in 1989, which is a long time ago. And this is the first time I've done a project like this, and it was a group composition. The students that are on the stage actually composed this piece of music. And I was really pleased with how it turned out, and I hope you do too. In order to do that, we learned a couple of things. First of all, we learned the D blues scale. And you'll hear quite a bit in this piece of music, and they kind of liked it, and it's kind of bluesy, and it sounds cool. And then they learned a walking bass line. And the thing about the blues is that it's usually built on what we call a 12-measure blues, or 12 bars, and each phrase within a piece of music is typically 4. So we had them write 4-measure musical phrases. Because it's in the blues progression, pretty much if you use the blues scale, they all work together, which is kind of neat. So everybody kind of composed a 4-measure piece. I put them up on the screen. We voted. The 3 top, it actually ended up being a tie for one of them. So the 4 top 4-measure phrases were combined into one piece of music because 2 of the 4-measure phrases were very similar. And so it was easy to kind of do that. We then composed a contrasting theme, which you'll hear, and then we composed 12 measures of what we call riffs, and they're just little rhythmic entities that have a lot of space and rests in them. And they composed it, and we put it together, and we talked about, okay, who's going to get a specific part, who has the melody, who has the bass line. And I was really happy to see that they were very much, well, this group hasn't had the melody yet, so they need to have the melody now. And that was very, very nice, I thought, of them. We had to talk about what dynamics do you perform, how loud do you play. We had to decide on a tempo, which was medium blues tempo. And they did a really, really nice job of working through it. I tweaked a couple of notes here and there and made just a little bit, I think, hopefully better. But the thoughts, the musical thoughts, are definitely the students. The title is Shades, a PBL for 5th grade orchestra. And if you've been paying attention, 3-letter acronyms are the hottest thing in education today. Such as PLC, SLO, SGM, Student Growth Measures, SIP, AIR, as an AIR testing that we've been working on for 3 weeks, MAP and DAP test, which we will continue to be working on in the coming weeks. Well, in this case, PBL simply stands for a pretty bluesy lesson. But I have to make a dedication, because the true inspiration for doing this piece actually belongs to the 5th grade teachers. And I appreciate the fact that they almost challenged me on this. So Mrs. Ward, Mrs. Feltman, Miss Bell, Miss Sherman, and our gifted teacher, Mrs. Cates, really are the inspiration for this piece. So, the premiere performance of Shades, a PBL for 5th grade orchestra.